So, Matrix Resurrections. Yes, I just saw the trailer for the 99th time. I'm going to try and get this out of the way because there's going to be a bunch of people with larger channels and bigger voices than mine that'll get out their opinion and theories about where the movie is going. And I feel like I have to get ahead of the curve, not because I feel like I'm some expert on Matrix, which I can say that I saw the movie Friday night, 1999, and it blew me away. I thought it was amazing. I was a kid, like seeing the effects and seeing the action. It was amazing. But I was someone, even as a child, who watched what I watched as an action movie with a really good twist. And I think once everybody delved a little too much into the Matrix, that's when it got a little iffy. But past that point, the first Matrix movie is something that I watch all the time. It itself, that movie contained, it's amazing. The franchise is messy, but that movie is choice. Having said that, I saw this trailer, and it's funny that I kind of agree with a lot of people not liking the trailer itself or not liking the direction it seems like the movie is going in. But before anyone says anything or I see anyone's breakdown, here is my take on what I believe is going on in the Matrix, with a dash of, things that I have thought along the way. But no, I guess I just want to put my theory into things that I've noticed about the Matrix the first time, I've seen it till, a few nights ago where I was watching the movie and still picking up on a lot of the, be it obvious that everyone has written documentaries and books about the metatextual nature of the Matrix movie. I think the greatest thing about this trailer is that we're living in 2021, where if there is metatextual writing in anything, in any of these films, we're going to tell you that The Matrix was the movie that jettisoned that into blockbuster films. It was already being done in every indie film, but no, we're going to make it mainstream. We're going to give you the messages that we're trying to tell you, to the point that I'm watching the movie, again for, I don't know how many times, but I'm watching it again and still seeing some of the things that I just really didn't notice because I genuinely liked how the story was being told. So, here's my theory and I guess breakdown of the Matrix Ressurections trailer. I think out of all the words and music that come with the trailer, the most important line in this trailer is, Neo's presumed boss, telling him we're going back to back to the Matrix. Why would he say that? I think that just like Thomas Anderson in, his former life, he worked for a company literally called Metacortex. And he's, it looks like he's a programmer. So I would assume him having what he is saying, as he did in the first film, I'm having dreams that they're not dreams. It's not a dream. I'm used to having dreams. And, they make sure they talk about that a lot so that you have a clear idea that this movie, this visual dream that you're looking at, is very aware. So I think in this film, we're getting to a point where Thomas Anderson, if you see in the mirrors, every time you see him, he's aged. Now, Keanu Reeves should look like this mirrored old man that's in a lot of these shots when he's taking the blue pills. Blue pills, you wake up the next day and you keep living your life. Why would he be taking blue pills? He shut down the Matrix. We need a Matrix reboot. So if we're rebooting the Matrix, if you remember from the end of Revelations, I mean, it's basically the same thing. But I think the same thing that's being done in this film is the same thing that was done at the end. We're rebooting the Matrix. The machines look like they're coming to Neo and they're waking him up. And that's because they need them. And I think everybody seeing all of these characters, Neo, Thomas Anderson, we're seeing Trinity. Obviously, she has, loss of, what's going on. We're seeing a rebooted Morpheus. I think the machines had to use Neo because, if you remember, the other person that was basically the one was Agent Smith. He was a rogue program. And I think there is a rogue program, once again, that is trying to, take over. And I think the best way that you can convince somebody to stay in the Matrix or that they're not in the Matrix is to say, like, yeah, that whole thing you experienced, you had an episode, man. Like, you were freaking out, you were stressed out from work, and you came up with this, video game movie franchise called The Matrix, and people watched it, they thought you were Jesus and all this other shit, and you got drunk and lost it because you got a little too high on horse and OD'd and said you fought 1,000 dudes in black suits and FBI agents, and it made $1 billion, dude. It just you need to relax. Take these blue pills. I don't know. That just kind of seems where it's going for me. So I think Neo is obviously waking back up, and I think we're going to see more of a cooperative effort between Neo and the machines, because now moving forward, if you look at the history of why the Matrix is, there is a way to have sympathy for the machines. There the artificial intelligence and the humans and what they went through is something different than Smith was talking about emotionally. Like, he was tired of all of it. So I don't believe that he just exploded in a million pieces and there's not going to be another Smith, because that's another systemic anomaly that happens within the Matrix is Smith. I imagine that if he didn't happen in the other Matrixes, then, there's been Neos before, but, it seemed like Smith was, the first of his kind. So I believe that what other genius way than to trap someone like that is to say that everything you went through was just fiction. And everyone loves it, but it's just made up. And if you start jumping out of windows and flying around and blocking bullets and stuff, just know that, like, you're losing it, dude. So I don't know. I can't wait. What do you think? I have HBO Max. I am going to see this movie in theaters and go home and watch it again. This is going to be the greatest Christmas ever. I can't wait for Spider-Man, but I don't really give a shit right now. What do you think? I'm excited. I can't wait. Matrix Ressurections. The Matrix reboot is a Matrix reboot. Cool.